All right, we should be good to go.
Like we're actually live.
Yes.
Welcome to the greatest college queen campus in existence. I'm here with the boys. The numerical,
The
the human
nuclear.
calculator with, let's say it backwards, yeah. The human calculator with the numerical nomenclature. Raytron, uno, dos, tres, tres. You guys heard that echo? Tried to give it a nice little echo there.
Mm-hmm.
Was it? The man with the plan, the ultimate Nas fan, the electric jolt, E to the J. And I, the smartest man in the universe, he who guards the guardians, Vanguard rides again. So what you guys been up to?
Nothing really. After that night we had a very special night.
Oh,
no.
jeez.
Um. Nah. We had that movie night. We after that I didn't do much. Helped someone move some stuff, but nothing crazy. Nothing crazy indeed.
Mm,
What's my video not? What's going on here?
yeah. Yeah, I didn't really do much myself. Oh, I started watching Alias again. I never finished it, so I went back. I had to rewatch a couple of episodes because I was like there were some things I didn't understand because I like there was things I did not remember. So I rewatched a few episodes to get myself back into the groove. So I'm gonna finish Alias. That's my plan. Um, Alias is a good show. It's just as good as I remember. I really enjoy it. Yeah. What about you, EJ? What you been up to?
Just trying to get ahead of the agenda that I had for, cleaning my house, running some errands and stuff like that. So I think I got everything taken care of.
Yeah,
So
that's good to know. That's good. Being a little productive.
yeah. Feel like 2 days don't be enough, man. I have an off. So that
Yeah.
extra day definitely helped.
And you were working 24/7 before. You're crazy, man.
Yeah,
That's what we
man.
were trying to tell him. We were trying to tell him that it's
I'd be
crazy.
doing laundry, bro. My clothes be sitting there, like the fresh clothes just be sitting there in the corner of my room. And I haven't even put them away for
Yeah.
like over a week. I'm like, yeah.
At this point, he's like, I'm just gonna use them till they go back to the
Yeah,
hand.
Yeah, I
it's
mean that's
real,
why
man.
with cleaning to save myself the trouble. What I would do very often is I would just like make sure to clean when I wake up, like a little bit, and clean again at night. And that would usually help. Like it helps, And as soon as I use something, put it away.
Yeah,
That would help make sure there was no mess.
being clean is a lifestyle, bro.
Yeah. You can't save it for 1 day or 2 days because then you're gonna look around and you're living like Oscar the Grouch.
You're living in squalor. You can't be doing that shit.
You're just like, damn, this shit really snuck up on me.
Yeah, so same thing. I just make sure like if I throw away trash frequently. Uh, the worst I have is clutter. I'm bad at clutter because
You
I do
vacuum?
no what not vacuuming. Well,
You
I
said
do
you was gonna
vacuum.
vacuum.
I do vacuum, but that's not what I was talking about when I say clutter. It's been like my
Mm.
desk just has a bunch of stuff on it. Um, I need to like find some storage space because there's some like important documents I would get. I would just keep it with me at my desk because they're important for like a few moments, and then like after they're done, I throw them away, like I shred them or whatever.
Mm,
But those type of things are I just like I'll keep them and they'll make my desk messier and stuff.
mm. Raekwon. How unfortunate.
You had nothing to say.
I was being stupid. I was being joke.
This nigga's
But
like, I got nothing, bro.
yeah, I mean, I don't have anything about my general life to say. Like nothing to catch up on or anything.
Yeah, no girls at work if you trouble.
Nah, nah. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about anything anymore at work. Oh, with certain women I can, but not with the newest girl. She's not right in the head. She might get me in trouble.
Yeah, he was telling me
Jesus.
about some stuff, and I was like, yeah, just don't even think too
Who you
hard around her, bro. She'll
Yeah.
record your thoughts.
trying to say she's a nut job?
Bro, she's just
Yeah,
like kind of a scummy person.
yeah, and also not. She's literally not right in the head. I mean, she's not like look at the. It's like what I was telling you guys. She has personal things about herself not feeling good enough, so she controls her boyfriend's behavior, and he can't even watch porn or whatever. And it's like because she says like she wants to feel like she's enough. That just some severe
Yeah.
some severe insecurity issues going on there.
I was gonna say before we get into the, I guess whatever the agenda is for today.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna say because he didn't get to be a part of the stream, um, the last one we did. So I was gonna say if there was any thoughts you had about the films,
Oh,
um, that you wanted to share.
quick
Yeah.
throwdown is that nigga Tupac is evil. Nah, like he really sold it well. That he was a crazy
Good acting.
guy. He was
Great
crazy in
acting.
that movie. Like I really was watching it. I was like, I forgot that this is a award winning artist Tupac. I was like, oh, this man right here. What was his name? Bennett. I was like
Bishop.
Bishop. I was like this is
Bishop.
the
Yeah.
worst person I've ever met in my life, bro. They should burn this man at the stake. He was crazy, crazy.
When he kept pulling out the gun every 10 seconds.
Bro, like this man would appear on stage,
We crew, right? We
and
crew.
I was genuinely like terrified for the people in the movie. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
he's
We threw
gonna
that shit the
get
whole night.
you.
We
I was like,
crew,
oh
right?
man,
We crew.
and
We threw that. Go.
oh, there was just like some very key moments where EJ was right. It was like, yeah, like before he even goes into that descent of like power trip, like you could tell, it's like he is not the one. He is not the one who should be holding on to this piece. In fact, I wouldn't even put him in the plan, bro. I wouldn't put him in the
Me
plan.
neither. Not involved him at all.
Yeah, like this man he's not right. Something's
It
wrong.
made me. It made me think of like I don't know if this happened in Lost, but it's kind of like a Lost setting where people are stranded on the island, right? And they find something like they find like a weapon, and then they're arguing over who should hold on to it.
Oh yeah, literally something like that.
Something
Literally
like
happened.
that happened. Like
Yes.
I had a feeling something like that. And it's like in a situation like that with the characters from Juice, you definitely don't want Tupac's character holding on to that shit.
Yep.
Trust him. He's like, I think I should hold on to the gun because that'd be the most responsible. Like, what?
Yeah.
See the look on your face?
I don't even
Yeah.
know. Nah, main leader boy. He should have took the gun back. I
He
would have.
tried.
Nah, I meant the second when Bishop was like, "I'll hold on to the gun." I'd have been like, "No, no, no, nigga, it's my gun. I bought it. I brought it here. It's my gun. I'm holding on to it."
That's the thing. He wasn't thinking like that. Like when you're not that kind of person, those kind of thoughts don't even enter your head.
Yeah,
So he
no,
just
for real, for real. Like if we were hanging
yeah.
out and I gave you something, I wouldn't have been like, "Damn, this man's holding on to my thing. What if he's trying to rob me?" Like I wouldn't think that.
Yeah. Yeah. But we know a guy who does think that way, and that should have been our first clues. We had a nigga in our group who definitely would have been a bishop. If some shit like that happened, oh my God, it would have been over. It would have been over. Ray would have been dead first. I would have died pretty soon after him.
Nah. Which film did you like more? Did you like both equally? Say.
Mm, preliminarily, I probably like Fresh more. Yeah, I probably just like Fresh more. Is it? No.
Mm. Any specific reason why?
Um, Probably just like the game that was being played, like the big brainness of it all. Like it's not like Juice is bad or anything, right? Like I
Yeah.
really did greatly enjoy Juice, but to watch my man Fresh like conduct this masterful like plan, and even as things are going wrong, he's like making up for them. It was nice to watch.
Yeah, those speed chats.
Well, Juice it was more like I was watching the fall. I knew the fall was happening. Like I was just like
Juice,
a passenger on a
Juice,
roller coaster, right? Like I was just like,
Juice, there was no game of wits. It was just like a worst case scenario. There was
yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah. But it's like being on a roller coaster where like I'm just along for the ride, right? Where Fresh was more like being in like a house of mirrors where you're like, oh, I'm walking. I think this is the right path. boom, plot twist. It's actually this way. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh shit, it's actually that way. And you're like, what the fuck is going
I
on?
don't know, man. There were a few moments that were kind of twist to me. Like when he started like the shit with the locker, when he closed the locker and he was leaning against it, that shit caught me off guard. I didn't expect that shit to
But it wasn't
happen.
like a plot twist, right?
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was like
It was like, damn.
it's like a roller coaster's like plummet. You're like, oh man, my
Oh,
heart's dropping. Like the excitement's there. But if you really
did I
wanted to, you
literally
could look
say
ahead and see the
goddamn
rest
when
of the
that shit
track,
happened? I'm
huh?
sorry. I think I literally said goddamn when that shit happened.
Yeah,
When
but
he
it was
when
like
he closed it, I was like,
the
goddamn.
like you knew what was gonna happen in the movie. You knew who XYZ was gonna happen. Like generally, you might not
Yeah, yeah,
know
definitely.
like the specifics. But like you knew Bishop was gonna shoot who he was gonna shoot
You know
next, right?
this is not a good situation. Like, you know, there's no way
Yeah,
this ends well.
like we saw Bishop get the gun. We're like, he's going to use it. We saw Bishop keep the gun. He was like, the rest of y'all niggas is dead. Like
Yeah, the moment he shot the guy in the head, we knew it was over. We knew it was done.
you were like, so this is where the movie's Act 2 starts, huh? Like, we going crazy. Not even. It was like the end of Act 2, really.
Yeah, because I remember when before he shot him, I literally was like, "Oh, he's gonna shoot him, isn't he?" And then he shot him. And yo, but the other part when he appeared behind him in the darkness,
Yeah, it was such a goofy looking scene because like of the level of things we can like do now with movies. But back then, they probably was like, this is peak.
I didn't think it was goofy at all. I thought it was very nice. It was very good.
When I say
It was
when I'm
very
saying goofy,
cinematic.
I'm just like, yeah, like this was like peak things back then. Now we would have like a little more
See, but
technical stuff.
I like the exaggerated nature of old movies. I feel like new movies try too hard to be real, and the old movies capture a certain essence because they understand that what they're making is not reality. You
That
know?
is true.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Was you expecting the elevator, like him to let off in
Yes,
the elevator?
only because
Literally, the moment he said, "What are you gonna do?" I was like, "Oh, he's gonna shoot him in the elevator." Remember, he was like, "Yes." Bam, bam, bam. That was like the Chad meme. Oh, we gotta make that meme. We gotta make a meme like one face, like, "What are you gonna do? Shoot me in the elevator?" And then the Chad face, yes, yes.
well, like I was saying,
Oh,
uh, the reason I knew like I saw the scene already. Like, I saw what was gonna
oh,
happen.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, anyway,
That's
this is
a
a
popular scene.
perfect segue into the topic because the whole thing about juice is the corrupting nature of power and how when someone has the power, they may not use it to the best of everyone around them. So what I wanted to talk about today, and it was juice that actually got me along this line of thinking. Um, I wanted to talk about how to acquire inner power. Yeah. So what would you guys describe as inner power? What is inner power to each of you?
It's control over yourself, really.
Mm, okay. All right. What about you, EJ? Inner power.
Yeah, same in control over yourself. What's that?
Yeah. Because like what I was thinking is like we've had a lot of conversations where we seem to be more on the side that inner power trumps just like regular power, like I guess power over others and power over situations. Would you guys agree that inner power, like, would you guys agree that inner power trumps outer power?
I feel it really does depend. Um, no, no, yeah. I'd rather be in control over myself and then have like outer power. Like if I had to make the choice ultimately, so no, I would say inner power is more important.
Yeah.
Like, and
What
this is
about
more
you?
of a like I wouldn't want a person in power to not have control over themselves. Like we all know
Exactly.
that person who's like, yeah, if this person had XYZ, it'd be
It's
over
a
for us.
yeah.
Like, so yeah, go on.
Yeah. What about you, EJ? Inner power or outer power?
Yeah, inner power. Yeah, because if
Yeah.
you have control over yourself, I feel like that's gonna last longer. Uh, if you whatever your goal is, like if you want to be someone that runs a kingdom or whatever your goal is, I feel like that's the foundation. It starts there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because like I feel like inner power to me means mostly like it doesn't mean control over yourself, but it means peace. To be at peace with yourself, and on some level, even at peace with your surroundings. Because like inner power means you control enough of yourself to understand that there are certain things outside of your control, and sometimes you understand it's not worth trying to control those things. You know, like I remember saying like we were talking about how like when people try very hard to convince other people of things is because they don't have enough control over their own lives, so
Hmm.
they must try to control the lives and thoughts of others. Like I feel like yeah, you need if you want to have any semblance of power or any semblance of like structure in your life, first you must focus on putting your own self in order. Yeah. Right.
I can fuck with that idea.
Yeah. So like what are some ways you guys think someone can reach that idea of inner power or inner peace?
Honestly, before you can like get to those types of levels, you're gonna have to fail a few times. You know, you're gonna have to go out, experience life, maybe, maybe make some wrong decisions. Like you're just gonna have to like figure out what it really means to you.
Mm. What about you, EJ? What are some stepping
Um,
stones?
I would say like I think about it in terms of success, right? How you do the things that were necessary to get there, but then you also want to do the things that are necessary to keep it or maintain it. And I feel like that's where the inner power comes in because um, when you're successful, right? And let's say you have more money at your disposal, you have more respect from other people. We always hear about how those things could go to your head, and it could cause you to act in an uncharacteristic manner, which may lead to your downfall and ultimately losing that success. But I feel like if you have that strong inner resolve, or what we were referring to as power, um, you'll know that it'll get to a point where it's becoming too much. Like what you're doing is too much. It's costing you your success. Um, it's possibly destroying your relationship with others. So I think if you have that autonomy over yourself, um, you will be able to look back and reflect and see that these things uh have been destructive to me in the following ways. So I think that's why I was saying it's more of a longevity thing, where like if this is something that you want to maintain for a long period of time, it's gonna have to start at that base level.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, some of the ways I try to go for that inner power or mastery over self is I actually haven't meditated in a while, but usually one of the ways I went about is through meditating. I'll do that as much as I could. Try to do it at least once a day, but I was trying to shoot for two. Journaling also helped, like putting your thoughts in order and putting them on paper helped me gain like a semblance of control over myself. And then ultimately removing a lot of things from my life that were superfluous, like just unnecessary things that weren't worth thinking about. So like creating a very simple life, like simple structure, allowed me to have much power over myself and made my life less stressful, right? But like what you were just talking about, it's like when you have a level of inner power, it does become easier to recognize when you're falling off the wagon. Because like when I started to gain like a deeper understanding of myself and a deeper sense of like discipline, right? I would notice when something was like I would be able to notice when I was veering too much into doing something. So I'd notice I was like, "Oh, you kind of are talking too much at work about like certain things. So you gotta veer back a little bit." Like you said, it's much easier to notice when you're doing something that is maybe lacking in discipline or lacking in resolve. Um, and it's easier to pull yourself back as opposed to if you just like didn't do any sort of like self-realization at all and you never fucking notice until it's too late and like you've already destroyed your life before you ever notice that maybe you should have eased back a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the number one thing in regards to that would be holding yourself accountable. Like if you had to frame it under some kind of list as
Yeah.
to what inner power, like what is a representation of inner power, being able to hold yourself accountable in different ways and realizing that this is not something that is conducive towards who you are or who you want to be. Um, and then from then on, you'll be able to dial it back and behave in a way that you're used to behaving.
Yeah, I would say that's one of them, holding yourself accountable. Another one would be able like you have to be able to keep a cool head. Like when I say that, I mean like even in, like when a situation is falling, I feel like true inner power. It's like you know that meme of the dog in the burning house, and he's like, "This is fine." True inner power is you're so confident, I guess, in your ability and in the fact that that as long as the things within your control, you're gonna be able to make it work. That even when things are falling down about you, in your head, you're like, well, there's nothing I can do about this now, but I'm gonna whenever the opportunity arises, I will fix this. You know what I mean? Like if there's nothing you can do about it in the moment, you're patient enough to wait for when you can without panicking or, dropping into anxiety. Um, and I
Yeah,
suppose another one, like because you have keeping yourself accountable, keeping a cool head, right? Is there has to be a level of for one, you have to know when it is time to panic, right? Not panic, but like when things are deserving of your worry. Like it's like, okay, this thing is actually bad. Like I need to I need to think about this. Like I need to think my way out of this. Because like inner power, I think a lot of people get it like fucked up where they'll go on these like new age kind of self-help trips and they become the exact opposite of what we're describing. They just have this like wanton irresponsibility about them where they stop caring at all about their outer environment and like it's like everything will work itself out. It's like they no longer have to worry about anything.
Brother,
You know?
yes. Like I was literally talking to someone, and they were saying that exact BS. Like they were like, "Oh man," because they just got out of a relationship, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so proud of myself. Like I got out of this other relationship that was toxic really easily." And I was like, "Well, I am proud of you for that. You should like just be single for a while, tbh one." And they're like, "No, I'm gonna go and do things, and if their exact words were, if it works out, it works out, or I'm not gonna care about it." And I was like, "No, stop. That is wrong. You are not going to have a good time." They got really upset at me when I was pointing this stuff out. I was like, "No, that is how you just end up upsetting yourself and just hurt for no reason, because you can just
Well,
be going around messing around with XYZ, and then next thing you know, you will catch feelings, or they would have caught feelings, and you're not gonna have a good time, bro. Like you can't
yeah,
just coast through a relationship. Like that's not how that works. Like cut that out."
right. That's exactly what I do. I just coast through relationships. Yeah.
it reminds me of that saying I haven't heard it in a while, but when people used to say the pen is mightier than the sword, like basically using intellect instead of using brute strength to get you out of situations is probably the far more valuable trait. Because going back to what we were saying about the inner power, it's like a lot of people come from environments or come from places where they are used to handling situations a certain way, and having to come to terms with the fact that, yeah, like they can probably overpower this person, right? Like using outside force, they could easily probably obliterate them. But is this what is ideal for the situation long term, right? Does it make the
Yeah.
most sense? Um, Using intellect and logic, or something where you're using your thoughts and ideas and not, your hands or violence. And even though it's the more diplomatic way of going about it, and it's probably to some it looks as if you're afraid or scared, or to the outside individuals watching, it's the better way to go about it because of the consequences that are aligned with
Yeah.
behaving with brute force. So I think that's where the inner power comes in. It's like when it's like it's also about that another saying I thought
Restraints.
of just on the spot, where you have power but knowing when to use it, right? The ability to, like, real power is knowing when not to use it, something like that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, this even goes back to what Ray was just talking about, what me and him were just talking about, where it's like, yeah, knowing when a situation calls for a certain thing. Like you're like everything has its place, right? So it's like this moment. requires a level of sadness. Like this is something that hurts you, allow yourself to be sad. This thing is deserving of worry. You should worry about this thing, worry about it and fix it, right?
Hmm.
Something if a situation is, something where you should be angry in the situation, like your anger will be helpful, allow yourself to be angry.
I feel like
Like
there are
these
too
are
many
just
people who are trying to do one or the other. They're like,
things.
I'm too emotional, I gotta be emotionless, or like I gotta be more stoic. Or they're like, I'm too stoic, I gotta be like hyper emotional. I should be like, yo, bro, like you don't gotta do all that. Like,
Yeah.
like, like, let there
Just
be
know
balance
everything
in your
has its
life, you
place.
know?
Yeah. Everything has its place. Like like EJ was saying, like if you're in a situation where it's like, okay, physical force could solve the situation very fast, but I could also just mitigate this through talking to the person. You should probably talk to them. But if you're in a situation where now it's like you have no choice, you got to throw the hands, you're just going to have to throw the hands.
Yeah.
You're going to have to use physical force. Like you just got to know. Because like if you allow yourself to be pushed over too much, and like it's saying a situation in which physical force was definitely necessary, or at least some form of like outward aggression was definitely necessary. Like that could be the wrong choice too. Like sometimes it could be you were being too aggressive or you weren't being aggressive enough.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So
But it really
inner
goes back
power is
to
about. Yeah, go
duality
for it.
of man, bro.
Duality of man. Yeah, I think inner power is also knowing that you have vulnerabilities and not being ashamed of them. Like knowing your vulnerabilities, like literally knowing what they are, and then working around them or working with them. In general, like not being ashamed of certain weaknesses and just trying to find ways to fill those gaps. I guess. Mm.
Absolutely. Because there's nothing wrong with being a little weak, bro. Just
Yeah.
understand what your weakness is and how to correct it. And actually, we knew a guy who he knew he was weak, and if he had the opportunity to correct it, oh my god, we would all have died. We would all have
Yeah,
died
we know
because he
that.
did. He's the type of person who's like, yeah, you wouldn't know what to do with strength. he
Yep. Yep. People would have been dying left and right because
he would have
pissed
been.
them off.
He's the type of to abuse power if he had any. You know,
Yes.
it was
I
crazy.
remember noticing that in the show Oz, the whole inner power thing, because there'll be the prisoners in the show, they'll have these parole meetings coming up, where they could possibly get parole. So during that time period, they would try to be on their best behavior. But being in prison, you can easily become influenced to fall into your old habits when you're surrounded by other people that are trying to push you to that point and get you to get a reaction out of you. So that was like a true test of, certain characters in the show where they knew it was coming up and they knew somebody was trying to bait them. And they knew that if they just let them push them around, other people in the vicinity would think, oh, like he's scared of him or he's soft. But he's like, nah, I got a bigger purpose. I got a bigger plan in mind.
Yeah.
Like, even if these people think what they want about me, I just got to make it to this parole meeting. But that would be that kind of thinking is mature, but it's very hard for someone to come to get to that kind of thinking, especially when they're like used to acting in a certain way. And it's like, damn, like I know I got this meeting coming up, but I can't let him walk all over me. And
Yeah.
they'll honestly like ruin that parole. Like it'll get pushed back even further because they'll fall into that and get into a fight when they could have just avoided it. But
And
some
the other person
people can't
definitely
make
did
that
it on
adjustment.
purpose. You know, the other
Where
person
where you
probably
saying?
did it
Yeah.
on purpose.
Oh yeah, yeah. We knew a guy like that too, who tried to get you to act on your darkest impulses, or not even your darkest impulses, but trying to get you on his level. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Trying to get you on his level, and like he tried to do that shit to rap. But what I was gonna say is, I've had a lot of moments in my life where inner power really helped me. Like where I was like, I knew I could do something, but I didn't do it. Like it was like it's like I know I could flame this person right now if I really wanted to. But I was like, it's okay. I won't do it. I won't do it. Like,
Yes.
yeah. Remember that story I told you guys where I was walking with Lee and I forgot who else was with us. I think it was Ref as well. And we're walking and this like crackhead is spazzing on this guy and I was in my Superman phase then, so like I'm always trying to do the right thing, right? So I walk up to the guy and I'm just like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, what's going on here?" Like trying to calm the guy down, and then the guy gets mad at me and tries to push me, right? But then he fell back and like I caught him. Now imagine if I didn't have the inner power in that situation. Imagine I got pissed. I was like, "You fucking push me, one nigga!" And I just started beating the shit out of this crackhead. You know, so like I looked goofy as fuck, right? But no, instead, it's like I almost pitied him. I felt sorry for him. I was like, why? It's like you could have just accepted the helping hand. Like you didn't have to attack me. Like that was not necessary. And then I just let him go, and he cursed
And
at me the whole way.
he probably think you could have just accepted that I'm a crackhead and I do behave rationally.
Yeah, maybe I should have. I was just like, he's a crackhead. That's the kind of shit I'd be doing
You
now.
think you're Superman trying to help a crackhead, so as a result, I'm gonna give you a hard time for that.
Yeah, I mean, I've like that now. Like I accept that certain people are just the way they are. I just move on with it. I don't even be trying to argue with people or trying to understand anymore. I feel like, well, I do try to understand, but I'm not trying to like really understand. You know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, they're doing this because of this, and I just move on with my life. But there have been other moments in my life where the inner power was not up to par. Like there were some times where someone poked the bear too many times, and I did flare up. I remember there was this time I got into this argument, and they were all saying stupid things, and they were ganging up on me, like three or four people at once, ganging up on me, and I just got mad. I got mad. I started getting loud, started calling people idiots and stuff. Because it was like four people at once, and they were insulting me. So finally, I was trying to be calm the whole time, but then at that point, I was like, yo, you guys are fucking stupid, and I started going off on this rant about how they were dumb, and then the conversation. Once I got that heated, once I exploded like that, they all started chilling and stopped, and they stopped arguing with me.
I mean, like I said, well, like you said, sometimes you gotta find a place to be a little aggressive.
Yeah, man, I was thinking about that sometimes. I wonder if maybe it was a situation where I had to be aggressive, or if I was, if it wasn't necessary. It's like maybe I could have just walked away. Maybe I should have realized that because you keep your lips closed. The lips of wisdom stay closed unless to the ears of understanding. Because like if I could see they weren't understanding the argument, maybe I should have just stopped talking to them. You
Well,
know?
was it you were at work, right? Like
Yeah, I was at work. Yeah,
maybe like because you could do the what if game all year, right? It's like
yeah,
maybe they would have kept messing with you, or maybe it would have gotten worse because they would have started walking over you when you became like a manager and like you had to do things, right?
yeah,
So just be glad it worked out.
yeah. Well, I mean, hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, I guess, is going off that situation you described. It's like sometimes the outer power you have, right, would be more productive in handling the solution than the inner power.
Yeah,
But when you react in that way where you had to use uh not your inner power but your outer power, do you is that an indicator that you lost, like that you lost that
it,
interaction, like you lost yourself or you lost any inner power that you had
it
by
depends.
giving into it?
I mean, in that situation, it wasn't even. It got to the situation where, and there was another conversation where the same thing happened, but this time I reacted a little differently. Instead of getting angry, I just started making fun of them. You realize at a certain point that it's not going to be a productive conversation that you're having, so there's no point in taking it seriously. So sometimes, and if they're really insulting you, it's like because in that specific scenario, none of them were making decent points. They were all saying things I thought were really retarded, and I was trying to be chill. Well, then when they started like insulting me and saying things, that's when I lost my composure, and then let it be known that I thought they were a bunch of idiots, right? So in that situation, there really was no way to win that conversation, like trying to appeal to their sense of reasoning because they refused to understand. But then in certain other arguments, yeah, when someone will like a lot more often than not, when someone like loses their shit like that and explodes, a lot of time that frustration comes from them realizing they're losing. Yeah. Not all the
Yeah,
time though. Sometimes you could just be frustrating the person because you are a fucking idiot. Like,
because if you're always the kind of person that's restraining themselves from using the power that you have, that can lead to the same thing happening over and over again to you,
yeah,
where like people keep on testing you and challenging you and seeing when you're gonna step up to the plate. Um, and like in the case of, let's say, someone getting bullied in school, right? Or, trying to mess with you over and over. And then that one time that you give in and show like, yeah, I could take you on, like you're not a threat. It leads to them respecting you. So
Well, that's
that would
happened
work
to
in
me.
that would yeah, that would work in your case, right? That would work in your case. So it's not always the like you were saying, that sometimes the anger has to reveal itself, or the frustration, because that's the only way that the lesson can get through.
I actually gave a presentation on like that. It was more like when violence is necessary. It was like the idea when like it's okay to be a little violent, right? And my example was like, look, man. Sometimes if you are being bullied, like just standing your ground and being like, yo, actually stop messing with me. It. I was being kind of loose with the term violence, right? School project or whatever. But
no,
I,
there's violent. There's such thing as violent communication. So
yeah,
you
yeah.
can
But I
be
was just like being real fast and loose with it.
yeah.
Um, So I was like, yeah, sometimes you just gotta stay your ground and be like, hey, like really cut it out. Like I'm not dealing with this anymore. Someone got really mad at me and was like, that's what leads to school shootings.
What the fuck?
I was like, look, man, standing up for yourself is not. That, come on,
That's like no.
come
It's
on,
actually
come
the
on.
exact
Yeah, that's
opposite.
what I was like. It's not the fact that the person's standing up for themselves. It's the person who's not standing up for themselves that is getting to the extreme point. You know.
Yeah,
Usually people who are standing up for themselves are like, hey, cut this out. This is over. Like this, like EJ was saying, like the bully usually just stops messing with you if you're no longer an easy target. Like they don't want
yeah,
actual confrontation. That's why
yeah.
they're
There are
messing with
studies.
you.
Yeah, there are studies of how bullies will they target the kids who cry the most or loudest.
Mm-hmm.
So they're literally looking for that strain of weakness. But the other thing, that's a great point there, is that if you restrain yourself in every single scenario, you make it likely that you're a ticking time bomb. You make it ever more likely that like one day that situation arises, and because of all those 1,000 times you let it slide, this one time you lose your fucking shit. Because each
Goes too
time
far.
you
Yeah.
exactly you resented
Bro,
it each time is just brewing
you
inside of
you
you.
you witnessed this happen when this guy kept bothering me daily, and I tried. I was like, yo, bro, like cut this out, like leave me alone, like I don't even care. Like he was like, oh, Red is Ash's brother, Finn and Adventure Time is
Oh
dead.
yeah,
I was like, yo,
that's
bro, I don't care, leave me alone. Every time he saw me, bro, like
red
all
is
he would
actually
just on repeat, like a broken record, just repeat these things. I'm like, yo, bro, leave me alone. I did this for days, days. It felt like weeks. And like he would sit next to me in his one class and he would just be whispering that shit all class. One day I blew up on him. I was like, shut the fuck up. I will beat you up. Like stop. And never heard from that
was
shit.
it Mr.
Never.
McCarty?
Mr.
Mr.
Ricardo was real
McCarty?
disappointed in me, but I got that guy
Yeah,
to never say that thing again.
yeah. I
I
remember
thought you put him in a headlock. That's where I thought this was going.
there's a scenario with
If
that
I put
same.
my hands on him, I would have been going to jail, bro.
Yeah, he was younger than us. He would have gotten into serious trouble.
He
But
was like a year younger
the
than us.
huh? He was younger than us.
For like a year. You're making it
Yeah.
seem like
Make
he
it
was
seem
like
like
a
it was a
5-year
big
old.
game. Yeah.
You already know that it does not matter. He's younger than us. We're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I'm just clarifying for EJ here. It's like, no, it's not like this was a child. Like, this was to me someone who was my same age.
But yeah, that same guy. He took my ball once, and he takes my ball, and like he like I forgot what he did. He had
You
it like
pretend to throw
behind
it.
him,
You said you
huh?
pretended to not have it, and you were like, "Yo,
Yeah, he pretended to throw it, and I could clearly see that he didn't throw it. So I'm like, "Oh, just give me the ball back." And he's like, "Oh, I don't have it." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, sure, sure, funny, funny. Now give me my ball back, right?" And then like, what got me mad is this other girl joins in who I don't know. It's like he doesn't have it. Then I was like, "Give me the fucking ball, or I'm gonna beat the shit out of you." Like I just started yelling at him, like, "Give me my fucking ball!" And then like he started panicking, but he was still kind of trying to hold his ground. But you could see on his face that he was getting scared. And then he gave me the ball. But like at first I had to put the fear of God into him. That I was like, I'm like seriously, I'm not playing around. Like this is fucking annoying. Like, it
Yes.
just got me mad that they were insulting my intelligence like that. That's what pissed me off about it.
Also, it's
Yeah,
just like,
that
yo,
same.
it's annoying. Like,
Go
it's
ahead.
not funny. Like, give it up.
No, I was gonna say, that same thing happened with someone I know, where they work in the construction field, and as you all know, like how the construction field could be, where you're around a bunch of men. A lot of them is, you know, a lot of them. It's a lot of high testosterone. It's a rough kind of job
Yeah,
already,
yeah, yeah.
and they talk to each other in crazy, pretty crazy. So he was saying that he was telling me how this one guy that he was working with, I think he was a supervisor, or if he wasn't his supervisor, he was someone that had more experience than him in the field. So he was like more of like the veteran as compared to him being the rookie. So he was tolerating a lot of the verbal abuse that he would be giving him on the job, and this would go on like for weeks and weeks, and he would just deal with it up until a point where it just like kind of boiled over, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'm tired of your shit, this and that," and like he really gave it to him, but like it didn't lead to anything physical, because he would just like make these slick comments towards him, and after he did that, like, and I don't think, because if they were to fight, I don't think I don't think he would have been able to take him on. Like from what he was saying like the guy he was a big dude. I'm not gonna lie, which made it even more of a daunting task, right, to stand up for yourself. But um, he still the guy respected him and he stopped with that shit. And I always be thinking too, like back to the bullying example, like even if you have somebody that is like much more stronger than you and powerful, and if it goes to blows, you're losing that. I was telling Vanguard this, like in those encounters, it's still a lot more work for the bully, because if you're the type of person that's gonna stick up for himself and fight, even if you're getting your ass whooped, imagine him having to do this every day. Like it's not easy pickings for him, right? Like he
Exactly.
knows he knows that you're not going down without a fight. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's a lot of effort. That's a lot of effort for him to have to keep on going and going and going, even though he could probably do it. But it's just usually with bullies, they look for someone that's not going to even give them any type of pushback.
Yes.
And I think that's what it was with this guy I know. He was saying like he was looking for somebody that he could just talk to. However, he wasn't looking for somebody that actually go back and forth with him, because he knows he's not gonna. Even though he's stronger, he knows it's work, so he's not gonna risk losing his job and putting hands on him. So
You won't let me insult you? Bonk.
yeah.
Lose your job.
So sometimes that's how you have to handle those encounters. I know some people are afraid of those kind of physical confrontations and don't want to risk getting beat up. But sometimes that's what it might take for them to leave you
Yeah.
alone. Because if you keep on like showing that type of resilience, then you'll be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I
hit me
remember
with the I
the
can do this all
bullies.
day, bro.
Yeah, the bullies when I was in middle school and elementary school, they fucking hated me because even if they could beat my ass 3 times, if the next day if they came and said some slick shit to me, I would say some shit back. I did not give any fucks. And like I
Yeah.
remember one day some kid was like, "Yo, Gio, you a fucking pussy," blah blah blah. And this random guy was like, "Nah, he ain't a pussy. Like he may not be able to fight, but he isn't a pussy." That's what the guy said.
Yeah.
Like, he may not be able to fight, but he isn't a pussy. And it wasn't wrong. Back then, I did not know how to fight at all because I'd never been in fights. I get to elementary school and these kids are trying to murder me for no reason. So,
You walk in, then it's like, yo, put these on. You're just like, what's those? Gloves. Just start beating your ass.
yep, that's what was
That's what
happening.
they say the same thing about prison. Like if you go to prison, there's people that's gonna test you, and they'll even if you're not cut like that, the one thing that you can show them is that you're not just gonna go down easily, right? So
Yeah, when you choose
eventually
to
they'll probably
stand,
leave you alone.
because I saw the exact opposite. Where there's this kid who didn't stand up for himself, and like it was me who had to stand up for him. I remember he did something once that like I forgave him for it eventually, but I was very mad in the moment. Because like he threw a paper ball at this guy, right? This guy who was bullying him, and this guy was not built like that. He shouldn't have been trying to be no bully anyway. Like I knew this guy, so rugged bitch, but he was only bullying this guy because of, like we said, this was the weakest link, so it made him easier, right? So the guy threw a paper ball at him. He turns back. He's like, "Who did that?" who did that? And I look up and I was like, oh, I look up and then a guy who threw the ball, the pussy who was getting bullied all the time, he points at me. I looked at him. I remember I was just like,
That's
I remember I looked at him and then I looked up at the guy. I was like, yeah, it was me. It was me. And the guy was just like, and he just turned away and kept walking. And then I looked at him. And I remember just thinking in my head, I was like, what a fucking bitch. Like I just remember I lost. I used to like him before that.
Yo, that would make you lose respect for someone. You're just like, oh, so that's how you move, huh?
Yep.
That's
I
how
was
you
like, what a
move.
bitch. I still saved his life, but I was just like, what a bitch. Yeah. I remember that got me mad. I forgave him for it eventually by just thinking in my head, you know, if I was a bitch, maybe I would have done the same thing.
If you were a weaker man, you mean?
I tried to put myself in his shoes. I was like, yeah, maybe, maybe he was just being a bitch. It wasn't a personal thing. He's just a bitch.
It
He
was
just in that
nothing
moment
but
he didn't know
fear,
what
you
else to
know?
do. Huh?
Nothing but fear.
Yeah. Like it wasn't like a deliberate action. Um, yeah. Man, we were talking about inner power and then we went up on this tangent about high school.
I mean, I feel
Oh
like
yeah, but knowing
a
when
lot of
to
yourself
use
gets
it.
developed in high school.
All right, so I'll say this, talking about inner power. Do you think do you think um having a well-oiled mind is part of being inner power, like keeping yourself sharp in terms of the mental faculties?
I guess we gotta clarify that's not the same as necessarily being really intelligent, right?
No, no.
So yeah, as
But
long,
even yeah. Should striving for intelligence be part of seeking inner power?
I don't want to say yes because like I feel like yeah, no, because you don't need to necessarily be intelligent to have control over yourself, right? Like
Not really.
you could be the you could be a sack of bricks, but as long as you have complete control over
Nope,
yourself,
nope,
you'd be fine,
yeah,
right? Like you'd have all the
You
power.
you could be emotionally intelligent, you know.
But
yeah.
so yeah, like I don't think you need to like strive for intelligence.
Well, you would
You should
say
definitely
strive for some
yeah, like
level
you
of mental
shouldn't be
clarity?
super naive or like easily tricked. Like you gotta like have some street smarts about you. You know, like you can't let people just play with your name real easy.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, EJ? You think some sort of mental sharpness is necessary?
Yeah, as it pertains to being able to manage your emotions, being able to read a situation, going back to what you're saying, knowing what the situation calls for in terms of the reaction that you should give. You're not going to be 100%. You know, I mean, all of us have probably, whether it was friends or with family, where we said some things we probably didn't mean, or
Yeah,
it got heated, and we didn't handle it the best way we could have, right? So you like Ray was saying about failing, you learn from those experiences and just try to be sharper in the
yeah. I mean,
next conflict that you get into.
that's where the mental power comes in. The fact that you recognized that you may have overplayed in that situation, like you shouldn't have done
Yeah,
that. Being able to recognize when you've made a mistake is a huge part, I think, of that. Like holding yourself accountable, like what you said earlier. But
yeah.
what about okay? So this got me thinking about the conversation we had in the last video when we were reviewing Fresh. And Emilio, not me, sorry, I don't want to say his. Raf was talking about how he does not like scheming and he doesn't think that's how you should go through life. Do you guys think there are situations that require scheming?
No,
No?
no,
What
because like
about you,
I
EJ?
feel like I don't consider scheming and planning the same. You know, like there's the very clear connotation when you
Well, I
say
mean, yeah, because I'm
scheming.
talking specifically about like trickery, like
Yeah,
cunning.
nah, I don't think you gotta trick people into anything.
Mm. What about you, EJ?
Just to go back to what you were saying with Ref, I think he was more so, I'm answering your question, but he was more so referring to how Fresh was using lives, right? Like the people in the movie, like he was using
Oh no.
them, he was using
Also,
them as chess
he also
pieces.
generally doesn't like deception or trickery in general. He talks a lot about that.
Okay. I was just going based off of the point he was making about the movie.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think, yeah, I mean, he feels how he feels about scheming, but from what I was, getting from his point, he was just talking about like,
yeah.
and that's understandable. You don't want to see people using other people's lives as a means to get to where you're trying to get to, which I understood. But scheming, is it necessary? No, not really. I mean, I
Do you think
guess
there are moments in that it becomes necessary? Any
I
situation?
guess maybe in like some kind of business context where like you're trying to get, I don't know, like I'm trying to see if there's a way it can work. Maybe
Yeah,
if you're in some type of
I guess you have to think this much. The answer is no, right?
nah, not yeah. Generally, I would say no, but it might help you in a certain career, right? But I don't think you would have to scheme to really get anywhere. And if you do, that's just more of your type of personality, which isn't one that is, I would say, admirable. Um, because honestly, if you have to scheme to get somewhere in life, uh, then that's kind of it feels like an empty existence,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Where your words, uh, or your genuine self can't get you into doors or opportunities or whatever, right?
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I don't think it's that much necessary.
Maybe it's not like scheming is necessary, but maybe a level of social engineering is necessary where you have to know how to say things and how to present things to people in order to get them to do
Yeah,
something.
I feel like that's not the same as scheming though. Like because like social engineering for in that case could be something just like just being nice to someone. It's like, oh yeah, if I'm trying to like get this partner to agree to this like business merger, or this business plan, I'm not gonna be like, hey, your wife's a bitch, so how about merging? Like it's not gonna work that way, right?
Yeah.
So
Because Because the ref made that point when he came on. He was saying that he wasn't talking about scheming, but that pretty much is scheming. Where he was saying like when you act in a way that is not, that is not you, that is not who you are. It's another betrayal, right? And a lot of people will scheme, like let's say with getting women or trying to get somewhere, like they'll scheme their way through it
Yep.
because they know for the most part that it could work or it'll help them better than them just going about it in a genuine way. But even when Ref was saying that, he was like, you can get to that point, right? And even if that was your goal, um, you pretty much spent your whole life not really being who you are. It's just a caricature or someone else, and that's not really fulfilling. Even if you get what you want, it's not really fulfilling because
Yeah.
you have to constantly keep that up. It's like when you try to make a first impression of somebody, and you want that first impression to be good, that sometimes you might be doing the most. And so every time you see them, it's like you have to keep up that facade over
Mm,
and over and over because this is the expectation that you've created for them,
yeah.
right? And in order for them to have that same expectation of you, you have to keep in line with that. And that gets exhausting. So if you take it to like a higher extreme, right? Where like it's about you becoming wealthy or you uh, getting you know, um, a whole bunch of different women, right? Like you're after getting all these different women. You have to constantly do that over and over. And it's like even if you're good at it, that's still exhausting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah, 100%. Uh I'll say like before we move on, I'll say like one of the most freeing things about like finding inner power, inner peace. It's that thing where you accept yourself as who you are and you just don't care. Like you don't alter yourself for anybody. Other people can see that shit. Like they start to think that you're some kind of god in their eyes because they see, like I remember even at my old job, one of the in contrast to one of the people we worked with, it became clear to many of the women there that he was very slithery and that he changed his personality and words in situation to situation. But then they realized that with me, that I didn't do that shit. That I literally said whatever I was thinking in the moment, no matter what. So they came to trust me more. Even if they wouldn't like what I was saying, they're like, that's what made me realize that you're a trustworthy person because you would say something and you would see that I did not like it and you would continue. They're like, you didn't care. Like, you'd keep saying it. They're like, that was a good quality. Like, I wouldn't go out of my way trying to hurt people or anything. But it's like, if I was saying something and you didn't like it, I would just like I would talk to you about it, and I wouldn't change my opinion or try to soften it now, but I would at least try to reach an understanding with you. Um, so yeah, people really recognize. Although it's interesting, right? Because I was reading something about how people actually they can't notice authenticity at all. Like they can't tell the difference between when someone's being authentic or when someone's being fake. But I feel like it's not about the other person. It makes life easier on you and makes you more comfortable. Like you were just saying, EJ, when you are acting authentic, because there's not so much weighing on you and you're not sitting there worrying about all these outside factors. You're just like, I'm going to put my best foot forward and whatever happens, happens, you know?
Yeah, but being authentic also has its issues too because
Indeed.
you're also met with resentment from people or
Yes.
people just looking at you weird, and you still feel that weight of social pressure to conform. Where you might get it from
Well,
your parents, you might get it
I
from your
agree.
friends, you might get it from people in school. So
Oh,
like
you
But
mean
you
that's
like
where
you
the
you
inner
always feel
power
like
comes in. Like you kind of like
yeah
grow out of
you just
that.
have to ignore it. Yeah, you have to ignore it. Or you have to be, not even ignore it. You have to know when what they're saying makes sense and what they're saying doesn't make sense. You have to be able to figure that out. But definitely what you're saying, if you are a very authentic person or someone who seems very confident in themselves, that shit is threatening to some people. They get very put off by it and get mad. You'll meet people who get fucking really intimidated by you and like angry that you seem so disaffected. You know what I mean?
yeah. Especially when it comes from the people that don't live that way and they wish they could live that way. So it's like, damn, like he makes it look so easy. Like the whole thing with the guy that in your school that saw you wearing the ring. He wasn't. I don't think he was. I think he was more so envious, but he wasn't mad. He's just like, damn, I wish I could do that. So like when
Yeah.
you have people that really harbor those feelings and they look deep within, it's just like, damn, bro, like I hate this dude. I wish I could be him, but they don't really know how to express that.
Nope. Yeah, I remember yeah, but that guy actually was one of the first revelations to me of just how limiting an existence like that can be. Where like someone could seem like they're the golden boy, but really they're trapped because they're trying to live up to all these expectations people have of them, right? But beyond that, I remember I had a supervisor who I'm pretty sure I told you guys the story 1,000 times. The supervisor who wanted to fuck the girl I was fucking, right?
Yes.
I think one of the primary reasons he hated me was because of that nature I had about me where I just did not, or one, I'm very authentic. I wasn't as outspoken, not in that job. Actually, I'm usually not very outspoken. Like, I mean, you guys probably find it hard to believe, but it's like I'm not outspoken in that like I'm always gonna share what I think. But I'll be outspoken if it comes to it. Like if it comes down to a conversation, I will say exactly what I think without caring. And that would lead to a lot of trouble actually, because people would think that something I said to a supervisor was like was not was disrespectful or something. I was like the supervisor often supervisors would think I was fucking awesome because I did that shit. But I remember with this guy, I was so utterly unimpressed by him, and I think he could see it. I think he could feel that when I would look at him, I was looking through him, or like I didn't really wasn't concerned with him whatsoever. I think that made him feel bad, like that made him feel angry at me, that I did not seem impressed by him at all. Because I think he wanted really badly for people to think he was cool and to like be impressed with him. And he just saw that shit was not working with me. Like the others would try to eat out of his hand, try to kiss his butt, and I was sitting there, just staring, silent.
Would you eat a sandwich, bro?
But I eat the sandwich.
His sandwich. Remember he didn't wash his hand?
Oh yeah, god damn, yeah, nigga ain't wash his hands. That's crazy.
I
But
was
think
gonna
about
say,
that. They
oh,
would
go ahead.
roast his ass. They would roast his ass about stuff like that, about how he didn't wash his hands and stuff, and how he was a fucking idiot. Then he would come in, and they're like, "Oh hey, how's it going, man?" And like laughing with him. I found that shit so disgusting. That shit used to get me so fucking mad when they did that. I'd want to vomit. Like I'm not even kidding. I'd feel sick watching them do that shit.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I don't sit there talking shit about people, and then when they come around, be like, "Yo, what's good? You my best friend." I don't do that. If I
And
if
it's
I won't say the things I'm saying to your face, I'm not gonna say them at all. You know.
like I can probably talk shit about you and still act kind to you,
Yeah,
but
but like
that's like
that's different than like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, yo, what's good? How you doing, bestie? Like I'm not doing
exactly
that. I'm not doing
that's
that.
what's crazy. What were
But
you
you don't
gonna
need
say?
this. You don't need to necessarily say everything that you said behind their back to their face, though.
Brother,
It might not be
when
no
I said that,
reason
I meant
for it.
like
Yeah,
I'm not saying like I'm not gonna sit there and talk shit about you like and then dap you up afterwards. Like
and then hang
if
with
I
you. Yeah,
generally like don't fuck with you, like
Yeah,
you would know. Like we could work
yeah,
together, but you would know it's like I'm not the guy to invite to beers after work because I'm not going, bro.
yeah. We're not
yeah.
friends,
You're like, all
you
right,
know.
I'm not your homie. I'm not your homie, bro. Like we are colleagues.
I was gonna say another point about the about why they feel resentment. And maybe there's another reason why supervisor felt this way towards you. Because a lot of people that are not authentic and a lot of their lives they was able to achieve so much by through scheming. And when they see somebody else that was able to get to that same point of success without having to do any trickery, without any deception, and they were just themselves the entire time, it was just like, damn, like it's like it's almost like you have a superpower to them, right?
Yep.
Or like
Yep.
it's almost like um it's like when you see somebody's success and it means their failure. That's how they look at it. They were like, damn, I didn't have to do all this, and I could have gotten just as much or
Yep.
maybe even if or maybe my authentic self like could never match his authentic self. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gotten I've only gotten to where he got to because I had to get by through trickery and deception and scheming and being fake. So I think that's the other side of it. It's like they see somebody that didn't have to cave into that or didn't have to conform to that. I remember Nas had a line like that. He was saying that he didn't have to drive a Rolls and he took off her clothes. Like you know what I'm saying? Like people chase certain things or put, materialistic items around them, enhance who they are. They can't get it organically.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people hate that. People hate seeing that shit.
It's funny because 2 points, right? Like, especially specifically that guy, what you're saying might actually be part of it because the girl that I ended up fucking there at that job, um, I guess that's a harsh way of saying it. The girl, the girl that I was seeing at that job, right? Um, Literally, what happened was it was literally just like that. I wanted to hang out with her. So I was like, hey, we should hang out. And I just was very straight up, very direct about it. I just said it to her one day, like, "Hey, we should hang out sometime after work," and like real simple. Meanwhile, him, like that's how I ended up, hanging out with her, and I think that's what she liked about me, just how straight to the point, and how because I think that's one of the things she said she liked the most about me, that I never seemed like I was hiding anything. Like she was like, you just said whatever you wanted, and you said whatever you were thinking, and it never feels like there's like a knife behind your back or anything. But this guy, he was always trying to be very like clever, like trying to make conversation with her, trying to ask her certain questions, like trying to offer her a ride. Like he's trying to worm his way in there. Meanwhile, I was just very straight to the point. So maybe that was part of that envy, that anger. Like he's like, how did he get to where I was trying to get to? Like, how did he do it? And I was like, the answer is I just did it.
It's like I walked in the front door, you know.
Yeah, I walked to
Because
the
it
front.
because in his mind, this is like the rule book, right? To getting to that point. This is how you do it. You do it through scheming. You do it through being fake and not being
Well,
not
in
being
his
your real
mind,
self.
it was probably what he thought was game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thought because he was a supervisor, he could have her, and all she do is make fun of him. I mean, on some level, ultimately, many women are attracted to that element of power. So she was somewhat attracted to the fact that he was a higher station, but it didn't translate into what what he needed it to translate into. Like the reason she was even entertaining his nonsense was part of because he was on that level.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, like if he was a regular old goofy, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to ruin your life.
yeah, yo, I remember I was so angry when that shit happened. I think, yeah, I think Ray saw how angry I was about that shit, like how pissed. I remember she made me turn into a cold blooded. That I remember I was in her car I was like, if it ever comes down between me or anyone else, choose the other person because I do not fight over women. That's what I told her. Remember, I said that to her. And then I said that shit to her. You could see the chill run up her spine as I said it. Her face was just like, her eyes were like wide open because she could see I was dead serious when I said that shit. There was no mincing of my words. I was just like, I will literally drop you like a fucking sack of potatoes if it ever comes down between me and someone else.
Bro,
I was like,
someone said something similar to me, where they were like, "Oh yeah, I like you," or that other person was like, "You don't like me, then." I was like, "No, you don't. Like, you clearly don't like me. It's that simple."
yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I was gonna move on to another topic, but we don't think we have much time. So I think we should instead do a quick hypothetical or something if any of you guys have one.
So, oh yeah, I was thinking about it after watching Juice. I was like, "All right, so which one of us you giving the gun to, bro? If one of
So
us
is
had to
Rep,
hold on to the gun,
is Rep and Husto in this?
yeah, everyone who watched the movie, which one are you letting hold the gun?"
Jeez.
Hmm.
Jeez.
I'm picking myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'll pick you. I'll pick you.
Because I can't. I gotta hear Gio's person before I start giving out
I, re-
reasons.
I remember you were saying that. Oh yeah, he goes now. I'll give my reason as to why I picked you.
I'm trying to influence.
On one hand, because like Ref giving him the gun, I don't think he's a danger to any of us. I don't know. Ref is also too nice. Like he's the type to be like he lost the gun because he gave it to somebody else or something.
You
Like
would do
someone else.
some stupid shit.
I feel like you do something like that. Like someone else needed it more than us. I'm like, are you fucking serious? I was like,
Then that person comes back. He's like, "I needed it for this." Bang, bang, bang.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'd probably give it to Ray. Maybe I could see a case for EJ too, though, having the gun and it being fine. EJ as well.
Yeah, like if it wasn't me, it'd be him. The
Yeah.
reason I don't want to give it to Ref is because yeah, I don't think Ref's gonna end up like shooting me, but I just like he's definitely gonna be like, "Bang, woo, bang." He starts firing for no reason.
I can see a drunken accident happening with that. Him just getting
we
too
saw
close,
how
he just starts firing away.
like we saw how he was when y'all guys were holding that hammer. Like I don't think he's like super reckless, but get a few shots in him, and he might he was like, I'm just shooting at the bottle, bro. Shoot at the bottle, and then he fires it once.
Yeah,
He's gonna like firing it.
I can see
And
that
then he
too.
accidentally nicks somebody's foot on the ground as he's
And then
firing.
he would claim that he never nicked them. Then it must have happened some other way.
I don't know. I just didn't feel like giving it to Husto. It just didn't seem like the right option. I don't think he would even want to hold it. TBH.
Hey, well, what's the case against me? Why can't I have the gun? What's the case
You
against
know
me?
why I can't give you the gun.
I'm not gonna hurt anybody.
You know why I can't give you the gun. I can't give you the gun.
Can you guys literally see me using a gun and fucking killing somebody? You guys can't see me doing that shit.
Look, man.
I can see you getting carried away. I can
It's
see you
it's
getting
like
carried.
the you feeling like you having the gun. It's just like it's gonna do something to you, bro. It's gonna do something to your mental, and I can't give you the gun, bro.
Yeah.
Can't give it to you, bro.
I don't think you have bad intentions. I think as far as safety reasons, you'll probably be playing around with it. Something
Like
will happen.
like if this was like an actual like
You're
apocalyptic
clumsy.
situation,
You're a clumsy
yeah,
guy, man. You're clumsy.
A gun?
you are.
I don't
You
know
are a
about
clumsy
that.
guy. Nah, bro.
I wouldn't call myself clumsy at all.
See,
I think
nah, bro.
no,
You're a clumsy man.
I'm
Like,
not
come
so
on.
clumsy.
You're a clumsy
I
man, bro.
I
You were
think
just
what
talking
happened,
about how you lost the key because you put it in the wrong pocket in your
that
own
doesn't mean you're
jacket, bro.
that doesn't mean
That
you're
doesn't mean
clumsy.
I'm clumsy. All right,
Clumsy.
that doesn't mean
Because
he's
if I had
clumsy, bro.
logic, every time you ever lost anything, you're a clumsy
I've
idiot.
never lost anything.
I
I
pull
see you
charges,
lose
man.
things before. You're looking for them.
Yeah, and I find things. I've never lost
Yeah, but then
anything.
by the 5 seconds you lost it, you were clumsy.
No, you've actually lost things. You've
Everyone
gone bye.
You lost your wallet, bro.
Nah, bro. Like I'm saying, it is
Oh, see,
more
that was not
frequent.
even
No.
that was
It is much more frequent with you than other people. Is what I am saying.
I disagree. 100%.
You would disagree, and
Because
this is why you
for me
can't.
to-
This is why you can't get the gun,
For me to be clumsy, certain things that I'm able to do, I would not be able
brother
to
in
do.
Christ. The amount of
Very
stories I have of just you fucking some shit up, bro.
No, not really. Oh,
Nigga, you
except the
dropped
time
my Gundam
I was
yesterday.
drunk. I was drunk and tripped.
So was everyone else in the room.
We can't be taking them chances
I
with
was
a gun. That's all I'm saying.
I was the one closest to the dresser, so I
Bro,
dropped
the amount
into
of
it.
people who walked past it. Our boy Ref is
Well,
the
let's keep it
drunkest
straight,
out of
yo. There was a
everybody.
chick who drunk your house and shattered your whole mirror. Let's stop playing games, bro.
Didn't you
Stop it.
break it?
No, we were in the bathroom. I think she brought me into the bathroom.
And didn't you slip? And that's why it broke?
I don't remember which one of us slipped.
Like
I think
you
it was
slipped
me.
and that's why it broke.
Yeah. No, I think I slipped and then it fell off the thing, hit the floor, and then. But it was after
But
she
he's
brought
not
me into
clumsy.
the bathroom.
He's not clumsy.
But
It's okay.
I don't think I'm clumsy at all. I think I have moments where, of course, I knock things over like everyone else on the fucking planet.
Nah, bro. I've literally watched my man. He will put his phone at the edge of the table. I'm like, hey, bro, don't leave that there. He's like, it's fine. Then it'll fall. And then bro, how many phones have you gone through in like the past 5 years, bro?
We can agree there.
Come on, bro. You be going through them shits, man. Like,
I'm not risk averse. We can say that. I'm not. Well, most of the phones I stop using them because they're old as fuck. But
nah, bro. I literally have one of your broken phones here, bro. That's just shattered.
Yeah, well, that was me. I think some of them I literally broke on purpose. Like I was angry and I broke them. But I'm not risk averse.
You're not holding the gun, man. You know,
90% of the things that happened would be because I was testing a risk. You're
gonna be like, I want to see how far it goes.
It's like a fuck around and find out situation. But with a gun, I do not see myself playing around with a gun. I'm sorry.
Yo, once you get comfortable enough, people start playing around with these guns, bro.
A knife, yes.
No, I'm saying like, once you have a gun for long enough, people really do start playing around with them things.
Not me, bro. Guns are terrifying me. Not terrifying me, but just I know what they're.
Once you had it long enough, you'd be like, man, it's not guns that kill people. People kill people. Well, while you're swinging around, you're just like, bong. Oh, see, that was the gun. That wasn't me. It was the gun.
Well, what I will say is this: one of the reasons I wouldn't give myself a gun is because there may be moments where if some kind of evil occurred in my delusion, I'd probably want to fucking solve it or something. I can see some goofy situation like that happening where I end somebody's life because of something they did.
Nah, I could see Ray holding the gun because I remember we had that conversation about I think it was another hypothetical. We were saying if you were evil, I forgot. I think you proposed.
Be a dictator. Huh? If you were a dictator, what would you do?
You could run the world or something. Yeah, and Ray's answer, it was something along the lines of like he can't see himself doing anything really evil, even when you're given the power to do so. So I think if him having the gun, not that any of us, I don't think if any of us had the gun, as far as like within our circle, any one of us are going to turn on each other. But
we crew, right?
Yeah, we crew, right? We crew, right? But I'll give Ray that role to make sure that we all safe.
I don't know, man. I've seen Ray get pretty angry sometimes. I've seen him get crazy angry. I've seen it. Who knows? Yeah. Bring that nigga Gazi around. Maybe
I think as far as being the protector of the group and being able to control the situation, being calculated.
What?
I think Ray will, be able to take care of that.
With the gun?
With a gun.
Listen to what happens though. He gets the gun and now he's the leader of the group. You see what happens?
Yeah.
We going this way. Why? Because I said so.
Yeah. You see a complete shift. You're like, damn, I thought you were so nonchalant. Now I got mad emotions, bro. You ain't see them. I got mad emotions. Ask me how I'm feeling right now. Ask me how I'm feeling.
Oh man, insanity.
I think EJ just made the case for why he should never have the gun. Immediately, he was like raised down the leader of the group because he has a gun. I guess EJ is another one who can't have the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rep, I can definitely see doing some crazy stuff with it. Me, there's probably a possibility on my own. I think I'll do something stupid with it. Not in the group though. It'd probably I could see myself definitely out in the middle of nowhere shooting a gun at stuff, and maybe that could go wrong somehow. I get in trouble.
Yeah. I can see you making that clumsy face you always put on when something went awry. We're just like, oh shit, I left the gun at this person's house. It's not in the bag. Like what? How is that possible?
Not a gun. Heck, you've only ever seen me lose my. Oh, that losing my bag thing was fucking. That was crazy.
You lost
Nothing.
your bag. You lost your wallet.
No, the wallet was literally me being fucking retarded. That's how that shit dropped out. I was being a fucking idiot and doing upside down pull-ups. Like that was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I've never done anything stupid that day since. Never again. Upside down pull-ups. Fucking retard. I don't know why the fuck I did that shit.
You were drunk.
But
You were drunk.
the bag thing was crazy because nothing
Man,
like that has ever
you
happened
put
to
it
me in my
down and you
entire
just
life.
forgot you had it.
Nothing like that has ever happened to me. So when
Bro.
that shit happened, that was bizarre. Like I almost didn't know what to make of it. You couldn't even be mad because it was such a weird thing. I've never put my bag down and just got up and left it. Like, but it's like I got so fixated on what we were doing. I completely fucking forgot I had a bag to begin with.
Imagine you losing the gun, bro. I can only imagine. Look on your face.
A gun is a terrifying weight. I would not be able to. I would know that shit is on me every fucking
My
time.
God.
See, I
You forgot
also
my
feel
heart
like it
attack,
depends
bro.
on what's going on. Like if it's like the modern times, like today, and it's just for some reason we're just sharing this one piece. Like, I will go with what I went with, right?
Yeah,
But say like this is like the apocalypse and like we need a shooter. Don't give me the gun, bro. I'm not a shooter. Like if they're like like there's an enemy or rival group shooting, I'm not shooting them, bro.
I'll
Like
shoot somebody real fast. I'll put a bullet right through
yeah,
the
like I would change who I gave the gun to because like
I guess context matters. Like if this is a survival situation, you probably have to give it to Vanguard. Him being a Vanguard, he should be able to Vanguard the group.
Don't give it to Rap. Rap's gonna start trying to reason with people.
yeah, I
And
wouldn't
then,
I wouldn't give it to him either though because like you said, he'll start reasoning with people. Like I would need someone who's like not so unhinged that they're gonna like shoot first, ask questions later.
Murdering people.
But I
yeah,
need someone who's
that
gonna
ain't
be able to shoot. You know, like I
that
need
ain't
someone
me.
who's going to fire.
That ain't me.
Yeah. Or maybe I end up
Yeah.
in the situation instead of shooting, I vomit. You know.
That man Ref gonna be shooting at zombies with a wine bottle in his left hand, like.
That'll be his final days, bro. You can be like, bang, bang, stumble.
Now Rap's gonna be sliding on the zombies.
one zombie gonna look a little too good. He's like, whoa. I never been with one of you mommies, but I gotta
He'll be
find
like,
out.
yeah, Rap, if she bites you, you can get infected. He's like, nah, I gotta tell you what you gotta do. When a zombie bites you, you just wash it off with some iodine real quick. You just
And he's like, bro,
Yeah.
some iodine, some sleep, some purified water. I'm not even getting none of those chemicals in me because my body's a temple.
Ref probably gonna be thinking like, damn, I
Look.
should probably slide. They head game probably snatch souls, bro.
He he's not even sliding on zombies. He's gonna be like, yo, who's out there sliding? Just us. It's gonna be easy, bro. We gonna go. We gonna find some mommies. We gonna take them back to the compound. Like, yo,
what the mommy gonna do if we all she has to protect her from the zombies? Of course she gonna.
we gonna be upstanding citizens. We gonna be out here saving these. Man, don't let the apocalypse happen, bro. Don't let the apocalypse happen.
Yeah.
Let the apocalypse happen. All right. I want to say I was gonna ask another question, but nah. I think it's good.
Put it in the chat.
Oh,
Man,
I was gonna ask,
those are always funny. Nah, go ahead.
related to this. I was just gonna ask what's related to this. Like,
uh,
what kind of scenario do you think would have to happen for you to actually decide to fire that weapon?
Oh, me?
Mm.
I mean, like, if it's a zombie, like an unalive thing, or like
Let's just
an
say
animal, yeah, like I'd fire at an animal. To fire at a human,
you
oh man,
can't
I
see
don't know.
any scenario where you're firing at another person.
That's not that I can't. It's just like I don't know, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I don't want to
I
be
see.
like, oh man, they stepped on the back of my J's, bang, bang. Like that's crazy. That's
What
crazy
about
to
you,
me.
EJ?
what was the question?
What scenario can you see where you end up firing that hammer?
Mm. Uh, Stranded in the woods, haven't eaten in a couple days. Some livestock comes around, and we need food.
So you can't see a situation when someone's aggressing you in which you attempt to unalive them.
Are you talking about another human?
Yeah, like another person.
Yeah, like I feel like
Yeah.
it'd have to be an extremer situation where it's like is me or them type thing, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
me or you. Like,
Would
yeah.
resort to like some kind of cannibalism, maybe.
I mean,
This man reverted immediately to cannibalism?
like Ray said, very good point in that, like, you never know what
Or
you're gonna
not
do in
even,
the situation. You
or
never
not
know.
even if you encountered a stranger and they're just wild,
Yeah,
try to kill you.
because like I can see myself because just based on the way I think. I remember even when Ray wrote a story. In the story, there were analogs for us, and my character was the one who, like, there was a guy who was bulletproof, and we have the guns pointed on him, and they're like trying to reason with him, like, just fucking kill him already. I was like, kill him, right? There are situations where I think like I can be very like pragmatic, but then at the same time, faced with it right in front of you, it's different, you know? Like now the person is on the other end, like, geez.
Like I feel like even in
I
that us or them situation, if I pull out the piece and I see the fear of God in their eyes, I'd be like, you should leave now before I like fire, you know? Like, all right, it's over, go away. Just just go away.
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
gonna say, I thought of another hypothetical real quick. It's in line with everything that we're talking about. So
All right, guys, what's up
let's
now?
let's say we're all stranded in the woods, right?
I already ended the stream, bro.
Let's say one of us is holding on to the gun. You serious?
No.
That- That's how Vanguard be sounding. You serious?
You serious?
I'm trying to say it is voice. So like, let's say we're stranded in the woods. One of us is holding the gun, right? And let's say the person that's holding the gun, right? Like we all fall asleep. Like we're camping in the woods. We all fall asleep. The person that's holding the gun puts it in his bag to store it. And they see somebody in the group run over to their bag to go grab the gun so they can hold on to it. And the person that is the one that was tasked with holding the gun happens to notice this while they're asleep. Like they happen to see from just waking up a little bit, but don't do anything about it. Like, are you
like
gonna
one of
press
those
the button?
delusional sleeps where it's like, what's going on?
Yeah,
And you
like
pack
you
like,
over here, somebody walking past you, you're just like, what's going on? And you just happen to notice they're in your bag taking the gun. Like, are you gonna be cautious of that?
all right, so I gotta like have some clarifying questions. So, to make it simple, it's me holding the gun. Someone
Yeah,
runs up, gets the gun on my bag. I do that little half
while you
sleep thing,
sleep. Yeah,
and am I like I see the person? Am I pressing them, or is it
yeah.
I see it from the like third person, not even one of those involved parties? I see it. Am I going to press them? Which one? The first scenario, the second scenario.
Mm.
Both
I was,
scenarios had interesting
I was,
answers.
I was thinking of the first one, honestly. I think the third person was probably more interesting though.
Because the first person perspective, I'm gonna wake up and be like, "Did I dream it?" Open my bag, look in there, see it's not there, and be like, "Hey, yo," to whoever. I'm like, I don't even think I'd make like a big deal out of it. I'd be like, "Yo, bro, like,
Nah, you make a big deal out of it, bro. This is a that's a big conversation. Can't just
Nah,
be taking guns
see,
out of
I was
people's
like, I
bags.
don't think I'd make a big deal out of it first. Like, I'd be like, go talk to them. Like, yo, did you? If they lied to my face, like, yo, you took the thing, like, you took the thing, like the gun. You'd be like, nah, I didn't take the gun. Then I'd be like, nah, we don't have to have a larger conversation. If this
yo,
man's
that's
lying about keeping the
terrifying,
gun,
though. That's
yeah,
terrifying. They lied to you. That's terrifying.
yes, it is. But I'm. It's not like we gonna have a talk about this. Like, I'm like, guys, this nigga got rid of gun. I'm talking
You
right
gotta
now.
run. You
Fucking
guys gotta run.
Among Us
You have a
alarm
group. You
bells.
gonna have
Like,
a group meeting? Group
yeah.
meeting?
I'm like, yeah, yo, this man took the gun. Cause
Yeah,
even
maybe
if he
go.
strikes me down, like you have to kill everybody too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't want to have a
And
situation like with Raheem where you're trying to fight him for the gun and he shoots you in the chest.
That's what I'm
yeah,
saying. Like,
because you don't want to go at it like mad angry. Because like, what if he just draws right there, right?
yeah,
Because
but
remember
it's
Bishop
such a
when
wild
they got a
scenario.
little, when they got a little heated at Bishop after he killed Raheem, what did he do? He pulled it out again.
He's like,
This nigga just
Yeah.
bodied somebody, bro. You think you're not next?
Yeah.
so if I was the third person, like it was third person, I feel like I would like, let's say a same similar thing happens. Like I'm the third person. It's also like in like a sleeping state. I'm like, what? Maybe, and then I wake up. If the person who was holding onto the gun doesn't say anything for like a little bit, I would go ask him, like, hey, bro, you still have it? Like, I wouldn't even be like out and open. I'd be like, I would go talk to him, yo, you still have a gun? He'd be like, if he said yes or no, like that's even more. if he says yes, and I know he doesn't, I would be concerned that this man should never hold the gun because I was like, oh, so if when faced with the responsibility and like you owning up to your mistakes, you not the guy, you not the guy.
What if
And
he
if he
says
says
yes?
no,
And
then I'm be like,
what
so
if
we
he's,
gotta go figure it out.
what if he's like yes, and what you gonna do about it? It's like, what do you do then?
Well, no, I'm talking
Like,
about this is the
I
guy who
mean,
lost the gun.
huh?
This is the guy who
Yeah.
lost the gun. I'm
Oh,
talking
He
about
says
this is the guy
yes.
who lost the gun. If he
oh, he
says
lost.
yes, I think to myself, this guy, when it comes to like owning like mistakes, he's not that guy.
See, he didn't lose it. He just put it away.
But I'm saying he lost. Like someone took it from him, and I asked him if he still had it, and he says
When he
yes.
lied.
He
Yeah.
lied. Like maybe
Yeah.
he lied to make me keep me calm or something. That's the bridge we have to cross. But in my mind, at that moment, I'm thinking, I don't know if I could trust this man either, holding on to this piece.
Just in the moment, depending on how big the group is, I probably only tell very few people because I don't want to start panic.
Yeah,
So I probably
right.
would immediately ask me. I probably would tell them, but I'll tell him to keep it on the down low so we can get
But
the
like I
gun
said, like
together.
it totally. Then I gotta go to the guy who I know took it and like, yo, bro, did you take that gun? And if he says yes, I'm gonna be like, yo, what? I start asking why. It's a whole conversation. If he says no, then I'm like, this nigga a liar. He trying to kill me in my sleep. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. That was the biggest thing I was worried
which
about this
answer is less scary?
scenario.
Which answer is less scary? Him saying yes or him saying no?
Him saying yes, because now I know he has the gun.
Yeah,
And
but
like
what if
I feel like a liar or a distrustful person with a weapon is way scarier than someone a little honorable, right? Like even though he
Because
still
you're
has a
not
gun,
going,
he didn't lie about
you're not,
it.
you're not gonna be able to get much sleep, bro. Like after that happens,
That's why I'm
like
saying we
you're gonna
having
be
the
caught.
meeting right now. Like this, we're not waiting, bro. We're having this meeting right now.
This is a big thing, bro. Cause I'll be scared to shut my eyes again. I don't know what this guy's gonna
Yeah, like
do.
this is not. I'm not padding this out for a few seasons. It's not going over a few episodes. This is happening in the next 5 minutes. I don't care what other plans we have, bro.
Somebody's finna die. Like somebody's finna
And it's
die,
like,
bro.
look,
Gotta
man, if
get this
this man is
resolved.
out here stealing weapons, we're gonna have to break off right now because I'm not traveling with this man's, bro.
All right, what do you do if in that situation he declares himself leader or some shit? Do you try to run? Do you make a run for it? Do you try to escape?
You don't have a
Yes, I'm
weapon,
leaving,
so
bro. I'm not staying with, bro. If that nigga Bishop, I told you during the movie, I was like, I would have turned him in. I would have went to jail. I would be like, it was Bishop. Bishop killed my best friend. He has to go to jail.
because it's like you can
What if your family is still in danger?
you can give him that
Being a
honor,
snitch, I
right?
guess.
Like if like going based off the Juice example, right? Like if everybody just heeds to Bishop, it's gonna be a certain point until like they piss him off or he doesn't like something they do and then they just kill him, right? It's like a very dictator type of rule. So
Yeah, he's a
it's only
despot.
gonna yeah, so it's like your life is you're kind of living on borrowed time until this guy just eliminates you. So you don't want to be under that kind of leadership,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
that is the most depressing situation I could possibly think of being in, man. That shit is damn,
Now
man.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to confront him. If I don't like his answer, bro, I ain't gonna lie, I'm tackling that. Yo, give me the fucking
You're gonna end up just like Raheem. You're gonna end up just like
Sam
Raheem.
Kim. Fucking Sam Kim, what the fuck are you doing? I saw you.
He's gonna shoot you like Raheem, and then you're gonna be like, "Hey, you saw it? I told him not to run up on me like that. You saw." No, but it just reminds me of that question I asked you guys, where I was like, "What if you knew someone and they fucking like murder somebody right in front of you, and like the way they did it, you knew that there was no taking them in a fight or nothing. Like, what do you do?
They murdered someone right in front of me.
What was
Really
the reason?
callous, murderous shit.
Like they just
And
Was it
murdered
an
someone
act of
straight up.
self-defense?
yep, they straight up murder
Do I
somebody
know
for
the
no,
person?
huh?
Do I know this person?
You know the person who did it, like they were your friend. And
Oh,
then you
then
see this shit. It's like, what do you do? I remember I asked you guys this question. I
I
said,
have to go to the cops at that point
yeah.
because it's like
What if they're like, I will
it,
kill your family?
they can't kill my family if it's just them. Like I'm going to the cops, bro. I'm going to the cops because like that kind of like excuse always like bothered me because I was like, how are they gonna kill your whole family if it's just like it's one thing if it's a gang right? If I'm going up against the gang, then I understand. Like, yeah,
Raekwon,
I can't
you
go up
just
against the gang.
you haven't seen enough of this crime stuff. These niggas really be walking up in houses and annihilating entire families all the time.
No. But I mean, it's like if you go to the cops, I will kill your family. How he got a tap at the cops? Like he tapped my phone. Hey, 911. Like fucking Vanguard. He murdered my family. Like, can you go pick him up? He lives at this address. I'll be in my
That's a
house.
good point.
Like
Yeah, that's a
that's
good point.
like what? Like you're gonna have a success. I said that man, Raytron. He told the
Well, that's
cops. Like
the worst thing could be he knows other people.
that's what I'm
He's
saying. Like if it was a gang, I'd be like more afraid. But if this is an
Yeah,
individual type situation, then I'm just going to the cops. Like if it's like, all right, this one guy went unhinged, 911, what's your emergency? Like I'm calling them,
what
bro.
if he threatened to murder somebody, like someone that he was also close to, that you guys both know, and he's like always around them? It's like, I will kill this motherfucker if you say anything.
If he's like he's leveraging like, if you do this, I'm gonna kill Betsy, my wife. I'm like, oh damn, I don't want Betsy to die now. Like
Yeah.
then that's a different situation.
Now, I think in the original scenario, it was like there was no evidence. So like even if you went to the cops, there'd be nothing to do. Like they're not gonna like he actually got rid of the body and everything. Like there was no way to prove it.
Yeah,
That'd be a,
if there was no way to prove it, then there's nothing like you said. There's nothing for me to do.
yeah, that'd be a terrifying situation.
Yeah, like I'd probably try to do the Quincy thing and like avoid the guy, but then he's probably just gonna start popping up.
Yep, you sit there, fucking closing, you digging in your car for something. You close the car door, he's standing there. Like,
Like, yo, buddy, can you give me a ride?
he's like,
I look you in
yo,
the face like, nah, car full.
he's like, where you been? Where you been at, Ray? I've been looking for you, man.
Honestly, I probably looked him dead in the face like, my job, you bum ass nigga, and
He's like,
try
bum
to do
ass
the playful thing.
he pulls out the gun. Bum ass what now? Bum ass what?
Then he's like, oh, think you big man now. Oh, I see how it is. And then I die. And then I would die.
Now you saw what Quincy did. He just grabbed the fucking gun and started beating the shit out of him.
Well, in this scenario, I was still in the car, and he was like not there. I was like, well, what I'm gonna do? Reach over the car, like, excuse me, just let me just.
Imagine. He just like he didn't expect you to do that. He's
Like,
like,
I
oh
didn't know you're
shit.
on there that long, bro.
He's like, oh shit, this nigga actually took the gun.
They probably don't expect that a lot of times, but don't try to like go take guns from people's hands, bro. Don't be doing that shit.
Before we leave, there actually is a funny thing like
Leave.
that.
We already left.
This bar was getting robbed. Guy walks in with the gun. He walks up to this one guy. He's trying to take the guy's phone. The guy snatches his phone back, and the guy's pointing the gun at him, and he's just ignoring him. He's just sitting there drinking his drink, as if the guy doesn't have a gun pointed at his head. And the guy just left him alone. The
Oh,
guy just went, robbed everyone else, and left.
I think I remember what video you're talking about. I think he like gave up his wallet or like gave some money, and then he wanted something else like his phone or something, and then he was like, "Now you're being greedy." No, and like you like yeah, then he just like, sits there and ignores him. I think it ended up on like a news like segment once, and yeah, no, because like a lot of times, and this is hard to believe, a lot of times people holding guns on you don't want to use them, right?
Yeah.
Because that escalates their crime. It's like, oh, it was armed robbery. Now it's murder, and I don't want you to. I want you to guess which one comes with a bigger sentence.
Yeah, there are some crazy ass bishop niggas out there, of course, who just walk around murdering people for no reason. But
But most people aren't doing that. Hell, I wouldn't be
yeah,
surprised if you got a gun drawn on you and it's not loaded.
yeah. Well, before we leave, one more scenario. Not a scenario, but
Don't
something that I
be
asked.
don't assume the gun's not loaded. Always assume every gun is loaded and that person's willing to fire though. Assume that.
Remember that time we asked that guy? First, I want to ask you what your answers are. I remember what Ray's answer was. His answer was similar to mine. So, EJ, a guy pulls a gun on you, and tries to rob you, and then like you're able to get the gun from him, right? Or I try to remember what it was. Oh yeah, I think you're able to get the gun from him, and you point it back at him, and then he starts begging. He's like, "Look, man, I wasn't gonna rob you. I wasn't gonna kill you, man. I have a family. I just wanted to feed them. Blah blah blah. Yada yada yada." Do you shoot the guy?
yeah, I ain't trying to hear that shit. But like, I try to hear that. Yeah, you going, bro? I try to hear that shit down.
Damn,
Exact the tone. It's over,
damn.
man.
Ray, what was your answer again? I don't remember.
I don't know what I said back then, but I don't think I shoot him now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think me and Ray were both in the corner that
He
we
gonna
would
have to
not
run me
shoot him.
something though. He gonna run his pockets though.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But no,
I got a family. I had a family too.
that's the argument.
I got a family too. What
Imagine
you
he's like,
mean?
"Oh, you got a family?" I think the proper term is had. Bang.
I had a family too. That factor in when you try to rob me, will kill me. Shit.
This one guy was like, he would straight up kill his ass. He's like, I would kill him. Like, no hesitation. He's like, you'd fucking kill him. But damn, apparently, now we really know EJ can't hold the gun. God damn. EJ's cold blooded.
Nah, to be honest, I probably won't kill him. That just sounded cool to say though. Like, hell yeah.
Dead serious. He was like, or at least
Nah, I probably would have killed him.
This is like a fake tough guy. He used to pretend he was a mercenary, or he wanted to be a mercenary.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, he would shoot him, no hesitation. I was like, that's kind of crazy.
But then again, if I try to get him arrested, cops gonna believe me, right? Like, I'm the one that got the gun now.
If it's ever been a situation where we were wrestling for a gun, I ended up getting it. I can't call the cops afterwards because, like you said, the gun is now in my possession. I'd end up on a t-shirt real quick.
It doesn't matter if you can prove like
But in a situation where it's shoot first, ask questions later, I don't get shot first and ask questions later.
Yeah, true.
Like, I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, well, he had a weapon, so we fired, and then we found out he was actually the victim. He was able to sort of get the weapon and subdue the
That's hard to prove. But then if you let the guy go, it's like he might try to come for you after that.
I highly doubt he's gonna try to come for you.
I don't know.
I don't think
most criminals are not mastermind. They're not out doing these things over and over again. You know.
Exactly.
So most people aren't serial criminalists, right? Like, they're not like, oh man, I killed one person, I'm gonna go kill a bunch of people. Like, that's not how it is.
Nah, but it's like you've seen his face, you know what he looks like. He might be worried about that.
Anything that would spook him to stop doing what he's doing.
Nah, that's not how these criminals function, bro.
Yeah, I don't know why you talking like you know criminals. Like yo, you part of the gang, bro?
You know them, bro.
I'm talking about like I know people. You just like that's not how criminals work. I'm like, most people work this way.
Yeah. You never heard of the saying "leave no witnesses"? Bro?
No face, no case. That's some hardcore gang shit, bro. What you up to? Yo.
Now we know for a fact you can't have the gun.
I don't know, man. Leave no witnesses alive. That's all I know.
Man, anyways, no face, no case. That's crazy.
Before we descend off into crazy land, just rambling all night. Catch you same bad place, same bad time. We gang, right? We gang. Vanguard out.